Hello, and thank you for stopping, looking, and listening. I'm Sandra, and I'm here with the #1 access station in the nation, and I'm so excited. Yes, right here, right now, on another episode of Angels Talk. I'm in a soul relationship here with Stephen Fortreid from the Allen County Public Library, and we are here today with the first show of 2003, right, Steve?
Right, first show.
How are you?
I'm starting to relax a little bit.
You
now that
are?
we've got the move over and we're ready to work and get the first show going and get the rest of the library going. So.
Well, I can say I'm trembling with excitement to have this opportunity here in Fort Wayne. It is a gift, a personal gift to me and to everybody out there. Hi, everyone. Glad you're here with us today. Stephen, you're the operations manager of
The Allen County Public Library.
How long have you worked here?
I've worked for the library, 34, almost 35 years now. I started in 1968, right after they moved into the other building.
And is this your first time on camera?
No, I've been involved in access for many years, so once or twice I've had to show up in front of the camera.
Once or twice.
But I prefer to be on the other side
Get
of
a
the
look at
camera.
him, folks. Here's the man who makes it happen. I have to tell you, Angels Talk Soul Relationship broke a 20-year record.
How's that?
Well, it was with everybody's help. I must tell you, I think of everyone here in the library as an angel. Angel, doing what ought to be done by them. You've seen the movie City of Angels, right? When I come here, it gives you that feel, and they're the love in action here in the community. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
they made it
absolutely right.
possible. With each and every breath that they took, they made it possible. I just showed up and trembled with the excitement. Yeah. So tell everybody out there about, well, first of all, today is what, the 22nd of January.
Right.
And I personally had withdrawals last month, not being able to produce. However, when I was scheduled to do another spontaneous interview today, I didn't know it would happen. I just asked, and Bob said, yeah, we can do this. And I said, what? We're not scheduled till, what, February?
February 2nd is the grand opening.
Okay.
We've managed to get open a little bit earlier here.
How'd that happen? Tell us. I want to know.
Well,
It's a phenomenon to me.
it was a lot of planning
Yes.
and a lot of work by the staff. Actually, we really only planned to be closed about a week and a half, but we wanted to give ourselves plenty of room. When you're doing something like this in January, you never know what the weather's going to be like. There were 1,000 things that could have gone wrong, so we did like a lot of people do. We plan for a grand opening when we can present the new library to the community, and then we do a soft open in front of that to make sure that we've got everything in place, everything working, that we know where everything is so that we can direct other people. And
I'll tell
so
you
it gives
this.
us a chance to do this, to do a show like this very spontaneously.
Yeah.
Worked out really well.
Well, over the holiday, Bob said, come down and see. And I actually was crying because I didn't know what to expect. I was a little bit not sure. And when I came down, I cried because it's so magnificent.
A lot of things worked out really well here. For the Access Center, the studio we're in here is actually larger than the one that we had available to us in the old library building.
In which way?
It's larger in both directions. It's just a bigger room, so it lets us do a little more, a little less crowded. You know what the other one was like. People looking at this on television can't always tell that we're in a fairly small room here, and much of the room is crowded up with cameras and monitors and all of the things it takes to put on a television program. In that building, it was the best room we could get. In this building, we did a little better. Much of the library is that way. For the books, for instance, in the old building, 2 of the floors, it's a 4-floor building, 2 of the floors are below ground. They were full of books, but patrons couldn't get at them.
Is that
And
so? Ooh.
if you wanted something from the basement, librarian or our staff had to go down and get it, bring it up for you. In this building, we still have 4 floors, but they're all accessible. So people will see many, many times the books that you can go and browse, that you can just walk along the shelves and see. And if you find something, you can look nearby and find other books by the same author, other books on the subject. In some areas, it's a huge difference. In the picture books, the first books that kids start to learn to read with and that their parents hopefully read to them,
Yeah.
got 7 times as many
You're
out
kidding.
as what we had.
Oh.
We've always had a huge collection, but people just haven't been able to touch it.
Yes.
The old building just wasn't designed for that. And so when we moved into this temporary building, we had the opportunity and we were able to work on that. And now when we move back into the new building in 3 years.
3 years? Yeah.
3 years, we hope.
Yeah.
3 years, if all goes well, all of those books will still be available. And that's really the design concept of the new building, is people will be able to directly interact with all of our resources, all of our materials, all of the computers, everything we have will be out there and available for people, including the Access Studio.
It is such an honor to be here. It is such an honor. When the other interview got delayed, I said, Bob, what do we do? He said, well, I said, who can I talk to about the library? This is the first show. This is so exciting. I'm not leaving here. And he said, call Steve. I said, I'll call Steve. And within 5 minutes, you were here. 5 minutes.
You caught me just at the perfect time.
Did I?
You did.
Oh, wow.
We have literally almost just in the last day completed most of my part of this move.
Completely opposite of the way you work, Stephen. I often said, the divine plan defines itself as I go along with each and every episode to offer new, fresh, real ideas. And here you are. Here you are.
Here we are.
Yeah. Tell us more. You said 3 years.
About 3 years, yes.
Yeah, about. Hear
about. Because when you're building
Yeah.
a building this big, it'll be 400 and, I'm going from memory here, 435,000 square feet altogether. Timetables have a way of shifting, and you never know exactly what's going to happen. We're about a year away from when we can really start construction. They tell us about 2 years to do the construction. So that's about 3 years. If it's a little more than that, we're all right. If it's a little less than that, one of the things that we were able to do by moving into this building earlier than we thought, originally we had not planned to move here until next summer, but when we got the lease on the building and realized that we weren't going to have to do too much remodeling to it, we decided to hurry it up and move as quickly as we could so that we could get out of the other building and the contractors can come in and do some of the preliminary work. There's a lot of demolition and deconstruction that needs to happen.
Yes.
There's some asbestos needs to be removed. There's site work and so forth that they can do well ahead of the actual construction. If they get that done early, then we save a little bit of time on the other end. Maybe get done a little earlier and get back into that building.
Well, for me, it was a smart time of the year for it to happen. I mean, Christmas, everybody's running around, and unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to volunteer as much as I wanted to, but I was here at heart. I tell you, I'm a prayer warrior, and I sit in the silence and know where the true power for me is, and I was just seeing everything go smooth and seamless, because I gotta say this, I was without the camera. I was having a withdrawal. Yeah. You were gonna say?
It was hard for a lot of people.
Was it?
We had a lot of people who simply didn't want us to move because they knew we'd have to be closed
Yes.
for however long it was going to be. We actually managed it in just under 2 weeks. We probably could have opened earlier, but staff has to get used to a building
Yes.
like this, and we wanted to have things put away, make sure the building was safe without book trucks in the aisles, and make sure we had all the signs up and everything ready to go before we open up to the public.
Well, and you know, Stephen, every one of the staff in this library, they are above divine order with their altitudes. They were so adaptable. It's like the word change was their happiness.
Staff got really excited about this.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
As soon as people saw the building,
Yes.
now this building is very nicely appointed. It was the national headquarters of Lincoln National Life Insurance. They built a very nice building. In many ways, it's very different from what you will find in most public buildings, and certainly most public libraries. There are beautiful offices. The atrium area out here is very nicely decorated.
Very nice.
And we spent a lot of time and effort trying to plan our moves so that we disrupted things as little as possible, so that when we move out of the building, it can be put back into its original condition.
I can't
or
imagine
better.
that. I can't imagine it. It's fully functioning.
We spent more time planning that, planning how to put it back, than we did how to set it up. Setting it up would be easy. You just get the building out, get 4 nice big open floors, and start drawing in the library walls. We tried to deal with the building as it existed and then take down as few walls as possible. It was an office building. There were several hundred people who worked here. Most of them either had an office or a cubicle.
Yes.
So the building was very broken up. For a library, you want a big open barn.
Yes.
So the two just
A
really
oneness.
weren't that compatible.
Yes.
And we spent a lot of time and effort trying to get the biggest spaces we could without really taking down the permanent walls and the nicer spaces. It was very lucky that this particular room here turned out to be exactly where it was and the size it was. It gave us a nice bigger studio, and all we really had to do was run up one little wall over here that will come down very quickly when we move out.
I certainly feel the warmth and the love.
It's a nice building. It's nice people. Our staff put a lot into this. The way we did the move, we have been moving some books out of the basement since late August, early part of September, and moving very slowly with just a few people, and then we kept picking it up. And then in December, we closed the genealogy department, which is one really huge collection of books. Moved that over, and then went right into moving everything else. Pretty much, we moved all the books from the main floor of the old building down here in 2.5 days.
Two and a half
days.
days?
Yeah, it took a little longer than I thought.
That should be a title for a new movie or something.
Took a little longer than I
2.5
thought.
days.
I was betting.
Really?
I was betting we'd be done by 10 o'clock on the 3rd day.
Oh, okay.
Now, it took a lot longer to do all of the other, there are little collections and things like that, but the bulk of that book collection was 2.5 days. Now, that's because we had 80 or 100 people working at it, working all through the collection, and material was just streaming out of that building. It's not really hard to move books. Everybody who looks at a job like this thinks about all the books.
I think of the filing.
It's not hard. If they were in
No?
order when they left, we
Okay.
kept them in order when they came over here. We put them back in order on the shelves.
Yeah.
Now, if you get the truck out of order, then you have a
Yes.
problem. We try to make very clear that the trucks be kept in very tight order.
I call it
That's what
divine order,
that's what
Stephen.
librarians do. We're all about keeping
Yes.
things in order.
Yes.
That's why they invented Dewey.
And boy, do I learn when I come here. Getting things in order.
Yes. So that part of it, I keep wanting to say it's easy. It's not easy in that we moved about 3 million things altogether between books and microfilm and videos and so forth. But the concept of that's pretty easy. Pick one up here, you take it over, you put it over here, you go back and you get the next one, you put it beside it, and a couple million later you look around, you're almost half done. Takes a lot of angels to do that.
I call it a kiss, keeping it short and simple.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
The real, well, the difficult part of this is more it was actually harder to plan getting the empty trucks back to get more books
What?
than it was to load the trucks and get them over here. Because everybody's thinking about moving the books over.
Okay.
And whether they're looking forward to it or dreading it, they were all thinking about how you do it. Oh yes, we have to keep the books in order.
Yes.
You know, how do we do this? They don't think about the rest of it, and that was probably the more difficult part. Getting the empties back, keeping the flow going to people.
It sounds like you're a hands-on type of guy. You were in it, weren't you?
On this, yes.
I knew it.
I was the one who
Yeah.
did most of the planning on this.
Yeah.
Probably spent more planning trying to schedule the use of the loading dock than we did getting the people to move the books, because they know how to do that. And they were accustomed to it, and even looking forward to it. You know, for many people who are in jobs where they need to think more than they use their hands.
Yes.
And that's pretty much a library job for most of us. For most of us, it's an office, it's a public service desk or something like that. It's actually kind of fun to put on your blue jeans and get your hands dirty and do a little physical work, and at the end of the day be complaining about the aches and pains. For most of the staff, that was fairly exhilarating. There were very, very few staff who complained in any way about it or who didn't participate. We had more people than we could deal with most days.
Really?
Many times we had to turn people away.
Oh, then I'm forgiven, right? For not
Certainly
physically being here.
Certainly you were forgiven.
Oh, good.
We are
Good.
much more served by the prayers of our well-wishers.
Yes. Yes.
We had plenty of hands for the job.
It's an inspiring story to hear of this transformation, this historical transformation. When I first started doing the show, I said, Eric, I'm coming in, we're going to do her story instead of history. But I love the fact that everything that I do is historical. Everything that's done here is historical.
It all is.
It's amazing.
That's how this access station got started.
It's grace to me.
Our library director at the time, was Fred Reynolds,
Yes.
was very interested in local history. He could have cared nothing about access. It just wasn't on his radar. But somebody pointed out to him that if he bought us one of these cameras, we could record local history.
Yes.
So that's really the way we started.
Yes.
And we've been doing that ever since. And now, as you say, pretty much everything we do it becomes history. So
I feel the peace. I feel a peace that passes all understanding here at Fort Wayne, Indiana, in the #1 access station. I'm honored to be in your presence. Quick question.
sure.
What's your interpretation of the word angel? You're in it.
Trick question. I think I come with two interpretations of that.
Okay.
I personally, for as long as I can remember, and I can remember things that happened to me when I was extremely young, I have felt right about here a presence
Oh.
that's always there.
Oh.
So I have sort of that interpretation. Then Also have the more, I don't know, prosaic. I worked with a lot of angels the last couple of months.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people who, I told the planning group yesterday, thank you for making this fun. And those are angels as well. It's a different kind of angel. And
No one's ever said that on this show.
No?
No. And like you
Um,
said in our early chat, everyone's different.
I worked with a couple of hundred angels the last few months.
Yeah. The supreme team, right here.
Well, that's not exactly what we called it, but close.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Let's don't go into that. You had to be there. You really had to be there
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if there's one more thing that you'd like to tell everybody out there in Fort Wayne, Indiana, in reference to access.
to access. To access, I would say, if you don't use it, just like this, it will not be here. We started this for the community, and unless the community does it, you can't just watch it.
That's right.
One of the access centers has a motto, says something about don't watch television, be television.
Be
That's
television.
what it is. And it's not really television. I've always personally tried to maintain a difference between television and access. Access is communication. Television is The Bachelorette.
Staged.
I don't know. It's a different thing. And yes, some of access is entertainment, and some of it is almost anything else, but what it all is communication. And if it's your opportunity to have that access to the means of communication, not to the television.
I said to someone earlier, communication and listening skills. We could all use more information on how to get better. There'd be less wars, less divorces, wouldn't you say?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also said that, you know, in divine order to accomplish the vision for this network, one world, one dream in the spirit of unity, we all have to take a look at ourselves. Yeah. And find that peace within us. Right in this room, in our families, in our communities.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This feels real peaceful right now.
We're in a soul relationship, Stephen. And we really didn't know the purpose, did we?
No, I
Till we
don't
got
think we
on.
did. When you called me, I had no idea what we were doing or why or anything else. But
Everyone
come down
says
and
that.
participate. That's
And it's
right.
fun for me to unfold. The discovery to recover.
Do you ever know where your program is going to end up when you start? Or do you just do this?
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. I've known a lot of people over the years who do that, and I've never really understood how, because as I said when we started, I'm very accustomed to being on the other side of the camera. But this side terrifies me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just honored and thankful that I had the access to do what I'm doing. My journey goes far and wide, deep and wide, and I never know who I'm going to come across. But you know, have you ever heard of the book Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Mays?
I've not read it.
Someone told me that this show exemplifies that, where everyone that you come in contact with, you have a sacred contract with. There's a reason and purpose for unfolding it right there in that very moment. Some people choose to take longer than others. I think we both chose, I'll be there in 5 minutes, right?
Right.
Yeah. we'll just see what it's all about and unfold it.
Mm-hmm. How did you get started with your first show?
Oh, I was scared shitless.
Okay.
I was, but I knew that I had a mission and a purpose, and that is to show up and be the catalyst to end hostilities between religious and spiritual natures in the world. And it's a global event taking place. So I follow God's direction.
Had you done anything like this before? You
Very
seem
little.
very at
Very
ease here, and
Oh, I've done acting in Fort Wayne, in movies, and I've done the very first infomercial that was ever put on air, and I've tried to produce a few shows many years ago with Terry Duran, and
Terry Duran.
yeah, isn't he classic?
Yes.
And so many others, and I think today I have the confidence because I feel at home here at the station, and the help. And every time I get excited because every time I come in here, I learn one more thing, and I live my passion. And it's through access.
That's what we were trying to get when we started all of this, to give people that opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I've gone from rags to riches.
How's that?
Well, because, you know, in my own personal spiritual belief, I know that God creates everything out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see past that, everything's there, and all things are possible. Yeah. You are my brother's keeper, as I am yours.
That's right.
Hi, Bob. There's Angel Bobby back there. I call him Bobby when when I'm on shore. He's floating 3 minutes out there.
3 minutes. That went quickly.
Yeah. So Angels Talk Soul Relationship is part of an unfolding business. It's called Angels at God Central Station. And I didn't know this until I realized this, that the acronym for Angels at God Central Station is ACCESS. AAGCS. Access. Your help is wanted.
Okay. Well, I've really enjoyed talking with you here.
Oh.
I will admit that I was a little nervous when I came down here, but
I told you when you
It
came
is.
in here, the party couldn't start without you,
I guess
Stephen.
it can't. I guess it can't.
It didn't.
It's a little difficult to sit here and interview yourself. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And you look nice today.
Thank you.
Your
I
beautiful green
finally
suit
was
and-
able to get back to wearing a suit after about 3 months of jeans and sneakers. Put the suit back on Monday. Couldn't remember where I put my ties.
So if you were to ask me what's my goal for the year, how many shows?
How many?
I think you just have to ask God. Just ask God.
How many have you done so far?
31 in 5 months.
31 in 5 months. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yeah. It's easy when you love what you're doing.
It's easy when
I
you
love it. I call my work a job, a joyous overflowing blessing. Not just
That's a
overbroad.
good way to look at it.
Well, it looks like it's our time. The right time, right here, right now. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today on another episode of Angels Talk. I'm Sandra, and I'm here with Stephen Fortreid in our soul relationship at the #1 access station in the nation.
I'm still in the driver's